All right, guys, welcome to the Precal Practice as a video. Fly through here. You can skip around problems as much as you need to. Hope it helps you for tomorrow. Okay, number one, I'm going to start off with the first two terms doing FOIL. So I'm going to do them first. I'm going to do outer and inner at the same time in my head. And last is -2. The second part, I'm going to do square, multiply double square the 4x, multiply the 4 and a 1 and double it, make it -8x, and +1 when you square. Before I combine like terms, I'm going to have to distribute that 5. So 5 times 16, 5 times 8x, and 5 times 1. And then add what you can. The x squared is going to be -74x squared. We got 39x, and then we have a -7. Hope you can read that. All right, number two. Number two is just flat out square, multiply, double square. So square the first one, multiply them together, -15 double, -30, and then square the 3, which is 9. Number three, three are conjugates. Anytime you're working on conjugates, just do foo. Remember, first, last. If I do the two first ones, that's 16x squared. If I do the last, +3 times -3, it's -9. And that's the first three. I'm going to erase those and give me some room here for my next part. All right, number 4, simplify. Remember, before you cancel, you must factor. Only cancel factors. So if I factor the numerator, I get x -3, x + 1. The denominator should be +1 there. The denominator, I'm going to have to do slide, divide, slide. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to slide the 2, which means I'm multiplying it times the 3. I'm going to find factors of 6. That have to be 5, which would be 3 and 2. Now I'm going to divide by the 2. It's called slide, divide, slide. And then I'm going to slide the 2. So I'm going to put the 2 in front of the x there. 2 divided by 2 I know is 1, so I just actually divide that. So my denominator is going to be 2x + 3. And also x + 1. And because I have x + 1 in my numerator and denominator, they cancel. So my final outcome, x - 3 over 2x + 3. That's all you got to do on that one. Number 5, multiplication. When you multiply, remember, you're still just going to factor and cancel, but you got to factor first. So my numerator on this first one is x + 3, x - 1. My denominator is x + 4 twice, or x + 4 squared. Over here, my numerator, I can track out a GCF, which is 3. Make it 3 times x + 4. And then I have that x - 1. Now I'm just looking for what I can cancel. I can cancel x - 1 there and 1 there. X + 4, x + 4. So what that leaves me with is a 3 times x + 3 over the x + 4. Okay, I'll just that one. I need to erase again. Let's see, there's those two. I think I got one more up here. Yeah, sorry about this. I got to erase as I go. There's a reason why, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, turn the page. Number 6, this is what we just did, except it's division, which means I got to keep, change, flip. So the first fraction I'm going to keep. I'm going to go ahead and factor x - 5, x + 3. Denominator, factors of 5, that will give me 6, is -5 and -1. I'm going to flip this second fraction. So the x squared minus 1 is going to be on the numerator, but I'm going to go ahead and factor it. It's a difference of squares, so you write them as conjugates. And then the numerator becomes the denominator. Factors of 12 that give you -1 or -4 and +3. And then I'm just going to cancel. X + 3's cancel, x - 5's cancel, and x - 1's cancel. So everything canceled except for the x + 1 in my numerator and the x - 4 in my denominator. All right, and that's 6. Erase. And continue. Number 7, everybody's favorite. We add or subtract fractions. You got to have an LCD. And remember, the LCD is made up of every factor. The only 2 factors that are up here are x and x - 2 squared. I know there's also this x - 2, but that x - 2 is actually a part of x - 2 squared, so you don't need that one. The x - 2 squared actually includes the x - 2. So what you do is you ask yourself, what does this denominator right here need? That x, what does it need to become the LCD? Well, it needs an x - 2 squared. So you multiply the 2 on the top times x - 2 squared. Then you do the same thing on the next term. There's a 1. What does this denominator need? Well, it needs an x, and it really needs 1 more x - 2 to get to x - 2 squared. And the last one, this last denominator, what does it need? It needs just the x. So I'm going to put a 3x up there. Now the chore becomes working all that out. So first thing I got to do is I got to do square, multiply, double square, which I'm doing here. The second one, I'm going to distribute that x, make it x squared minus 2x, and I have the 3x, and that's all over this x and x - 2 squared. It's going to take me a minute here. I've got to distribute the 2 now. 2x squared minus 8x plus 8. And I have this x squared minus 2x plus 3x all over x minus 2 squared. Wow. And the last thing, I got to combine like terms in my numerator. So 2x squared and 1x squared is 3x squared. Looks like I'm going to have, if I add all my x's, I'm getting negative 7x, and I have that plus 8. And my denominator is x and x minus 2 squared. Now, technically, I need to make sure if I factor the numerator that nothing will cancel with the denominator, and it definitely won't. So that's all good. I'm finished. That's a doozy. It's about to go away. There it goes. Number 8, compound or complex fraction. What you need to do here is look at the smaller fractions within the fraction and find the LCD of those. So the only two small fractions are 1 over x and 1 over 2. So the LCD is 2x and 2x. If I multiply the first term, this one, times the 2x, the x's cancel. It just leaves me 1 times 2, which is 2. Minus. If I do this term times 2x, the 2's cancel. So it just leaves me 1 times x, which is x. My denominator, I'm going to distribute the 2x. It gives me 2x squared and 4x. Now, sometimes you might be done right there, but I can actually factor the denominator. I can take out a GCF, and that will leave me an x minus 2. And then I'll notice that the 2 minus x on my numerator and the x minus 2 on my denominator are opposites. You're allowed to cancel opposites as long as you put a negative 1 in their place, which gives me a negative 1 over 2x as my final answer right there. I'm going to erase this one. All right. Number 9, rationalize. There's a shortcut for rationalizing square roots. Break it up into two pieces. Remember, the shortcut is just take the radical to the numerator, make it one big radical, and take the number out on the bottom. That's all you got to do. Okay, now you can also do it this way. You can also split it up, and because there's only one 5, you need 2 5s. You can do that, and you're still going to end up right there. Number 10, factor. This is slide, divide, slide. So I'm going to slide the 6, meaning I'm going to multiply by the 4, which gives me 24. Now I can factor. That's x plus 8 and x minus 3. The factors are 24. That would give you 5. Divide both numbers by 6. That's the division part. Now, when you can reduce, and this time you can, you need to reduce those fractions to 4/3 and 1/2. Now slide. Put the 3 in front of the x, and put the 2 in front of the x. And that's it. That's slide, divide, slide. That's factoring that trinomial. Number 11, that's a gesture. Small, big, cube root, square, multiply, change the sign, square. All there is to it. If you know the gesture, you got that one. We'll do it before you take your test tomorrow to kind of remind you. At least I hope we have time to do that. Number 12, factor by grouping. Lots of ways you can do this one. I did factor by grouping in class today, so I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take out a 5. You got to take out the GCF. If I take out a 5, that becomes 1a, 2a, 5a, and 10. And what I notice is you can group the two terms in the middle, make that a 3a and a minus 10. And now you can just factor, make it like a plus 5, a minus 2. And that's one way to go. The other way is do by grouping, which I showed you in class today. So whichever way you want to go is fine with that one. 13 looks like slide, divide, slide. And I guess you could, but you got to remember something at the end if you do. So always do GCF first. So on this one, I'm going to take out the 2. That leaves me a 1n squared, a 10n, and a 24. So I'm thinking about what factors of 24 would give me 10, and it's negative 12 and 2. And the reason I couldn't use 6 and 4 is because the 24 is negative. And the last factoring problem, number 14, still, again, take out the GCF, which is 2. If I take that out, that leaves me a 4x squared. Half of 50 is 25. And then I'm going again. All right, that's a difference of squares in here. Difference of squares, you're going to factor those with conjugates. So I'm going to go 2x plus 5, 2x minus 5. And that's all you can do. All right, I'm going to erase those 3. All right, 2 more to go. Number 15, interval notation. I think you'll get this one, no issue. Negative 1, we're going, x is between negative 1 and 5. Negative 1 does not have an equal sign, so I'm going with the parentheses. 5 does have an equal sign, so we're going with the bracket. All right, and the last one, number 16. There's a lot of stuff on this one. I'm going to work inside the parentheses. All right, so inside this first parentheses, I'm going to take that x down there to join, because it says to flip it. It's got a negative exponent, so it's going to become x to the 4th down there. That's a 4, by the way. My 4 struggle. There we go. And my y's, look at the y's. The bigger y's on the top, it's too bigger. So I'm going to put a y squared there. Still have that negative 1/2 out here. I'm going to deal with that in a second. My second parentheses have an x cubed. The bigger y is in my numerator. It's 1/2 bigger. The exponent is 1/2 bigger. So I'm going 1/2. Still got the 2 out there. All right, now, this exponent right here goes for everything inside, which would means you multiply the exponents, by the way. So I get y negative 1, x negative 2. And I'm going to square everything here. So 3 times 2 is 6. 1/2 times 2 is 1. I shouldn't have written it that big. The first one, I'm going to flip because they're both negatives. So make that x squared over y to the first if you want to. And I have x to the first, x to the 6, y to the first over here. My y's cancel. So it's just x squared times x to the 6, x to the 8th. All right, hope that helps some. Watch as much as you need to. You can, skip around. Hope it helps. Hope you do great tomorrow. Cheering for you. Come see me if you need to. Go Web, go Vols.